Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. AMC stock is down about 1.5%. We do have some breaking news for AMC stock specifically today, and we do have your data to go over. You got CPI. CPI came out today, and wow. Well, I think we have a problem in markets. I think that we can say definitively. I want to talk about that briefly here in this video. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the video coming out later today as well at 4 p.m. In the meantime, hit that like button as well as subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. And let's go ahead and get started. So let's start with your breaking news for AMC stock. Let's see here. AMC. It's one of the top news stories over here. It says AMC Entertainment. AMC significantly expands the availability of its popular grocery store popcorn through the addition of Publix and Kroger stores and Amazon.com. So it looks like in Walmart, their popcorn was pretty successful. So they are expanding that to other grocery stores. I know a very popular grocery store in my area, probably for most of you guys as well, is Kroger's. Just that being in Kroger's alone could help boost sales quite a bit. I would imagine, right? Kroger's is a huge grocery store, and there's like 3 of them around me in my, kind of area, vicinity, if you will. So I do think that is great news. Now, who knows? Popcorn business could become a much larger business, or it may not be material at all to AMC. I think time will tell. It does have real potential, though. And, one of the first things you have to do is get it into a lot of different stores, grocery stores, so people can actually buy the thing, okay? Now, AMC also says the Chapter 11 bankruptcy is not completely off the table. Management stated that there is a risk of liquidation or bankruptcy in the latest 10K if they can't restructure their debt. Yeah, oh my gosh, Adam Aaron, man, someone needs to talk to this guy. I would have had AMC in a beautiful place by now if I was the CEO. It's kind of a shame because there's one simple thing Adam Aaron can do that could allow him to raise a boatload of capital. And that is, AMC investors, we're not going to dilute you anymore. We're over with that for the next 6 months. Get the share price higher. 6 months later, you start diluting shareholders, bringing in, a lot more money than they did just even recently, right? When AMC was $4 per share and they were diluting shareholders. So yeah, not a great headline, that's for sure, for AMC stock, but I guess one good, one bad for the day today. AMC stock, though, is trading down about 1.6% following this news and the data today. And I mean, I think we just need to talk about this. Core inflation month over month came in at 0.4%. The estimate was 0.3%. Last month was 0.4%. So you came in at the same as last month. So inflation is spiking, and it's spiking in a big way, okay? Guys, this is a problem. This is a big problem. Core year over year came in at 3.8%. The estimate was 3.7%. Problematic there as well. Month over month headline came in at 0.4%. Estimate was 0.4%. So that was in line with estimates. And year over year CPI came in at 3.2%. The estimate was 3.1%. So basically across the board, you came in hotter than expected on CPI. Now, why is this a problem? Well, equities are not responding to this. Equities are ripping higher today, okay? This should not be happening, and I think we have a real problem on our hands. The NASDAQ currently is up almost 1%, even though we had this hotter than expected CPI. The S&P 500 is up 0.5%, even though we had this hotter than expected CPI. And it's not like we were just trading super low, right? Super low prices. The sentiment was washed out. So, any news would have been good news. No, you're trading at all-time highs still. And we just got this bad CPI report and stocks went up on that. Really? I think you have to really start questioning whether we are in a bubble or not. Now, the problem with a bubble is most people don't think you're in a bubble until you are in a bubble. The other problem with this market, and I can see right now, is people may just disregard any risk in our markets. Inflation's rising. Who cares? It's transitory. Remember where that got us? They may just try to ignore things until it all comes crumbling down. I think today really solidifies that we're going to see a crash. There's not going to be a correction. There's going to be a full-on crash. It might take longer than expected, but inevitably we're going to wake up one day. Earnings are not going to be coming in as great as expected. The Fed may not be able to cut rates. Inflation may be rising faster than expected. And maybe the economy is entering into a recession. Maybe we're getting some kind of stagflationary environment. And the markets are going to wake up to that just one day and start, hearing the music. And then you're going to get some of the selling, right? Not good. Definitely today, very unhealthy market that we are seeing. Now, Jamie Dimon also had some interesting things to say today as well. Jamie Dimon says the recession he's been predicting could still happen. Jamie Dimon said the world is pricing in a soft landing at probably 70 to 80%. He told the summit via video link, referring to when inflation comes down without a painful rise in unemployment. I think the chance of a soft landing in the next year or two is half that. The worst case would be stagflation. I think that's where we are entering, okay? We'll know a little bit more this week once we get retail sales data, but so far in 2024, what has been happening, right? It's not the greatest economic activity. You're not seeing really good numbers. We just had durable goods orders come out, not so great. And you're getting inflation. So you're essentially heading into stagflation, stagnating growth and higher inflation. That's a problem. That's a very big problem because stagflation means that you're maybe not worse off enough in the economy to start cutting rates, and inflation just won't come down, so the Fed's not able to cut rates. Pretty bad situation there, if you were to ask me. And it looks like we may have a heads up on this stagflation that could be coming. And it's a bit problematic that the markets do not realize this. Again, one day the markets will wake up and hear the music, hear the writing on the wall, and say, wow, how did we not see this the whole time? And I'm here to tell you, I see it. I see it right in front of us. And I think this means we're going to have a much larger crash event than a lot of people realize. I also think you have to entertain the fact that the markets are currently in a bubble. I mean, in a bubble, markets don't react to bad news, right? And the markets are not reacting to bad news. That's probably the single biggest characteristic of a bubble there is. And you're seeing that playing out right now. Now for AMC stock here today on StockTwits, the sentiment is bullish at 56. Message volume is at 54. Yesterday it was at 40, so that's a little bit better. And the sentiment is the same as yesterday. Participation ratio is at 56, which is about the same as what we've seen recently. So the higher, the better there, that's for sure. Let's take a look at the Ortex data here for AMC. We do have one order totaling $42,000 with a positive order value of 100%. You have April 19th, $5 call. So that's a pretty bullish bet on AMC, a relatively short time frame there. So that's also good. Cost to borrow fees about 1.5%. It looks like short interest is falling a little bit from about 13% here recently to 12.63%. $144.45 million currently in short positions. Days to cover 2.06. 33.13 million shares that are currently sold short. 42.46 million shares that are currently out on loan. Cost to borrow 1.08%. Utilization of 59.34 and a short score of 66.58 out of 100. So, the data is trending in the right direction for a short squeeze. It's looking more squeezy, if you will, by the day. Now, considering the CPI report that we got today, you are seeing 10-year Treasury yields up about 6 basis points, which that means bond markets are indeed reacting to the bad inflation report, right? Bond prices falling, yields rising. That's normal. So the bond market's not in a bubble. Equities are in a bubble, which is interesting. And yeah, bonds can go into bubble just like any other asset class can, but the bonds are definitely not in a bubble. So you really want to be watching what the bonds are doing right now, because the bonds are not in a bubble. They're the one that is really going to react to the data more or less. And you are seeing bonds falling on this CPI report and yields going higher, which means that's not good for what the Fed's trying to do, and that's not good for equities. Even though equities are not responding, still not great. If we go ahead and look at investing.com/Fed rate monitor tool for December 18th. Keep in mind, yesterday you were pricing in 4 rate cuts for 2024. Today you're pricing in 1, 2, 3 rate cuts for 2024. So you priced out another rate cut today, and the S&P and the Nasdaq are up over 0.5%. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that would be the case. I guess that is apparently the case. Strange, super strange what you're seeing out there. We'll see. Tomorrow could be a give back to some of this perceived bullishness that we are seeing. AMC stock, as far as stock twits, you are looking at about 7,800 calls currently in the money, 268,000 calls out the money, 32,000 puts in the money, and 111,000 puts that are out the money. So hundreds of thousands of options for this week's expiration, and it will likely lead to volatility throughout this week. I think the volatility could be with us for a little while here. Especially with AMC, considering all of the option activity, guys. So there is that. 10 2-year yield curve inversion is inverting more, now inverted 41 basis points. AMC stock here on the day is sitting at $4.28 per share. Again, getting rejected at that 50-day moving average. Once again, if we can break out above that, that's going to be great. If not, if we keep getting rejected here, inevitably we're going to fall lower. And I think that's what it's starting to look like. Again, we do have more economic data throughout the rest of this week, but it's not looking that great. That the data comes out bad, markets go higher, small caps like AMC underperforming. Inevitably, I think that's going to eke back into the rest of the markets, whether it's tomorrow or at some point throughout the rest of this week, and AMC stock may just fall further when the broader markets fall. So let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.